If you're on YouTube, I'm going to be going over some, mistakes that players could be making if they're playing Dune Awakening. Actually, the first mistake that players make is underestimating the sandworms. Crossing open dunes can without caution triggers a sandworm. A sandworm death wipes your inventory. There's no way of reversing that. You lose basically everything. To avoid this, you really want to stick to rocky terrain and use your sprint, like the sprint that I have here. Oh, wait, I don't have sprint. That was just rage. I don't have the sprint anymore, but using the sprint or deploying a still tent will allow you to cover. But if you're ever in the open sand, you'll see this icon come up at the bottom. It has like a little waveform. That's the worm like sound, and it's getting attracted to me. So in a few minutes, the worm will come. You never want to be out here. If you see it red, keep going. If you see it orange, keep going. Don't stand still. There'll be that player that stands out in the open and just gets eaten by a worm. So make sure that you're not gonna get eaten by a worm. The worm is coming now, so you can see the worm right there. That's the worm. It's gonna come for me. You see how it's all red? You wanna keep moving. In a few seconds, it's gonna come eat me. And when it eats me, I lose everything and I die, basically instantly. I don't know where that is at, but it's gonna come get me. It's coming! The worm! So this is what happens when you die. You got swallowed by a worm. The desert has swallowed you. So that's the first tip. The first tip is not to be in the open sand. If you're ever in the open sand, you keep going. But speaking of sand, if you're ever in the open sand, you want to make sure that you're reducing the distance you take from one safe spot to another, from one rocky terrain to another, because if you go from over here to like over here, that's a long distance and you have a higher chance of getting eaten by a sandworm. When you're going across the sand, you want to keep checking the map for these red circles here. These are called drum sands. They will make noise, they will attract worms to you, and they will also damage your vehicle. Just kind of keep in mind that of where you're going in the sand, because if you hit one of these, you're probably going to die. Most likely, you will attract the sandworm. Just keep in mind when you're in this area, most of the quicksand is like over here, so you don't want to be in that area in the quicksand. So just keep in mind of that. If you see anything with a red, with the kind of a green force field on the map, that's radiation. Keep in mind on that. There's only like, I think, one spot of radiation on the whole map, except for over here, there's more radiation. So neglecting water management. So during the day, there's a biome heat increase. So I just got biome heat increase. So there'll be an indicator of me getting hot here soon. So my body temperature will go up. You see at the top, it's sun thing. If it gets red, then my water intake is going down faster. So you always want to have water on you, especially during the day. You want to try to stock up on water and drink water when you're low. Because if you run out of water and your blue bar at the bottom left runs out of water, you will die eventually. Your health will keep dropping and then eventually you'll just die. You won't lose anything. You'll just die and have to respawn. So blood purifiers, Drew Reapers, and a still suit if you can, or a water container. Sandstorms are not to be messed with. If you hear a warning of a sandstorm coming to you, you better either find somewhere sheltered or have a still tent, because if without the still tent or without shelter, you will not survive it, because it'll just keep damaging you and eventually will kill you. If you die by the sandstorm, you will lose your stuff. Next mistake people could be making is just buying whatever skills they want. Yes, you could do that early on. Certain skills you want to pair with each other. Like for me, I started with this tree. So this is more blade damage and teleporting behind the enemy and dealing damage from behind. I can easily pair that with the blade, which will increase blade damage and give me more weapon damage based on my blade. Like retaliate, long blade. Well, long blade is kind of useless because I use short blades, but blade down to blades and blade damage will also get increased for my short blade. So I'm able to do way more damage with my dagger, which is very important. What was that? Just keep in mind on what skills you're getting. Planetology is really good too. And you don't want to skip any exploration or or like research points, because each of these little camps that have the 3 houses will give you intel, and you want to try to get as much intel as you can so you can research more stuff. I've researched like all of this stuff here. Yeah, that's basically it in the video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want more content like this.